The all-knowing God, who is Lord, moves us in many ways to deepen that knowledge of Him, which He revealed completely when, for our sake, the Word was made flesh. All disciplines, sciences, and teaching about the world and about human life that we pursue must have as their final purpose to bring us to a knowledge of the truth and to the worship of the true God. Today, we ask God's blessing on this center of seeking, learning, and teaching what is true. We ask that those entrusted with the education of young people in this institution may teach their students how to join the discoveries of human wisdom with the truth of the gospel, so that they will be able to keep the true faith and to live up to it in their lives. We also ask the Lord that the students will find in their teachers the image of Christ, so that, enriched with both human and divine learning, they will in turn be able and ready to enlighten and assist others.
The Lord be with you.
And also,
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
glory to you, Lord.
At that time Jesus exclaimed, I give praise to you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth. For although you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned, you have revealed them to little ones. Yes, Father, such has been your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son wishes to reveal Him. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves, for my yoke is easy and my burden light. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Your hand will lead me, O Lord.
Your hand will lead me, O Lord.
O Lord, you have probed me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I stand. You understand my thoughts from afar.
Your hand will lead me, O Lord.
You sift through my travels and my rest. With all my ways you are familiar. Even before a word is on my tongue, Lord, you know it all.
Your hand will lead me, O Lord.
Behind and before you encircle me, and rest your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, far too lofty for me to reach.
Your hand will lead me, O Lord.
How precious to me are your designs, O God, how vast the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the stands. When I complete them, you are still with me.
Your hand will lead me, O Lord. Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever. For those who have a seat, you can be seated. My remarks will be brief, but first I want to thank all of you who are here today, and all those who have been involved with this project here at Delone Catholic High School. Thank you for your commitment to Catholic education. Thank you for your willingness really to do the best that we can for our young people, so that they may not simply learn about God that is most important, and that really is the focus of our Catholic education, to help our young people to have a relationship with the Lord, who called us to life, who created us, called us to life, and invites us really to build a kingdom, build a world where truth and justice and mercy and love are the guiding principles. And that is most important in our society today. first of all, that our young people understand who they are, that they are not just people that have no future or no past. The young people here at Delone must truly come to understand that we do have a God who has a great interest in us, and a great interest in seeing us grow and develop as his sons and daughters. And that is the message that Delone Catholic High School tries to convey to our young people, a message that needs to be known by everyone in the world today. But second part of that also is that God gives us gifts and talents. And it's important that in education that we learn to use the gifts and talents that God has given to us. And I'm so pleased that the renovations here at Delone Catholic High School, now we have this wonderful math and science center. And today, especially for the United States, math and science are important. Math and science are two disciplines that are so important for our young people to be able to, first of all, to understand the concepts, to be able to embrace them, and also to be able to put them into practice as they go forward in their life. And as we look at math and science, one of the things about math and science is that a lot of it has to do with, in many ways, what we call mystery. The mystery of math. 1 and 1 makes 2. Well, how does that work out? And hopefully as our young people, study science and study math, and they start to study how the world is put together, they come to a deeper appreciation of the God who put all this, who made all this. I often think, especially in the study of science, and especially when we come to looking at science, so often in science we talk about discovery. We discover. In science, so often we discover. And if you talk about discovery, we're talking about, well, there must be something there. And who made this? And so often the magnificence of science is that we discover more about our God who put these things together. And also in science, so often as we move forward to different branches, and in terms of biology, we study, the animals, we study life, we study the human body. And as we move forward in life, even into like medicine, even there, what is medicine about? So often medicine is about trying to make sure that God's creation functions properly. I often think about a doctor that I used to know who was a physician in Philadelphia, and he was a very spiritual man, but he's also a very outstanding physician. And one time he said to me, he said, what is the most courageous thing, or what is the thing that a doctor can do? What is the most challenging thing for a doctor to do in treating a patient? And I said to him, I said, well, I guess you use some type of experiment. He said, no. He said, I'm asking, what is the most aggressive thing a doctor can do? And I said, well, I'm not really sure. So he said, the most aggressive thing a doctor can do is to do nothing. I said, really? He said, yes. He said, because, he said, when you're practicing medicine, what you must do is take your time. He says, if you rush in and do something in terms of medicine, you may not be treating a symptom and not the disease. So sometimes you have to stand back and see how things are playing out, how things are working. And he said that that's true also in science. A lot of times you have to step back and see how God has created the world, how God has put things together, so we can make sure that we have an understanding before we try to intervene and change things around. So I'm very happy that here at Delone, that in this beautiful new math and science wing, that our young people will have the opportunity really to delve more deeply into these sciences, but hopefully always with the focus of coming to appreciate more deeply the God who's created us, called us to life, and calls us to be his people. And then going forward, hopefully they're looking to go forward to use their gifts and talents that they develop here at Delone Catholic High School to make the world a better place. The young people who are here today are the future of our country. The young people who are here today are the people we're going to depend upon, really, to move the world forward. And that is what God depends upon. God depends upon each one of us, really, to do our fair share of helping to build up the world, and to be the place that he desires it to be. We know at the very beginning, when God created the world, he made men and women the stewards of creation. And what does it mean to be stewards of creation? It means to do the best we can to make sure that we take care of one another, and that we build a society where every life is valued from the moment of conception till natural death, that every life has value, and that our society has value, and that we build a society based upon the common good, in which we take care of one another. And that these are the values that, we hope and we pray that Delone Catholic High School will continue to proclaim for many years to come. What we do today is, I would see it as putting a stake in the ground, and saying, we're not going away. This is a building block. And I'm so happy to hear, as Dr. Diak mentioned, it takes a long time, but it's always good to have plans to go forward in the future, and so this is the second phase. So there's a third phase, and I would suggest that there'll need to be a fourth phase and a fifth phase and a sixth phase, because we can never get tired of adding more phases. Why? Because when we're adding more phases, it means that we're growing. When we're adding more phases, it means that there's something valuable that we want to hold on to, and we want to pass on to future generations. And to the graduates who are here today from Delone Catholic High School, I've met many of you. You're welcome to come back to school here if you'd like. Some of you, the classroom's a little different. I just walked into some with these smart boards and with the projectors, Many of you and some of you are my age, the blackboard was a big thing, But now there's so many more tools that are available to young people, and that's an important thing for us to realize, to provide for our young people. They need to have the tools for this age, we are in the 21st century. This is the new century, and it's what we call the information age. And so our young people have to be ready to take their place in the information age, to be able to add the insights that God has given to them to continue to build the world. And so I'm very happy to be with you. I thank Dr. Thiak and I thank the teachers, the staff here at Delone Catholic, what they do each and every day for our young people. I thank you, the benefactors of this particular phase of this project. I thank you for your generosity in helping us to move Delone Catholic High School forward, much more forward into the 21st century. And lastly, I thank especially, I met a couple of the state representatives who are here. I thank the representatives for their support of Delone Catholic High School. I thank them for their willingness, to support the efforts to make sure that our young people are, provided with what they need to have for the future. And finally, just one last thing is, I'd ask you always remember the most important thing that students can learn from Delone Catholic High School is to know their God, to have a relationship with the Lord. And so for the young people here, yes, we want you to know math, we want you to know science, we want you to be able to speak a couple languages, we want you to be able to write properly, to be able to read properly, and we want you to be able to do all those things. But all that will be a waste of time if when you leave here that you haven't grown in your relationship with God, through His Son Jesus Christ. So I ask you to take that seriously as well. This is really the focus, that we grow in your relationship with the Lord, who loves you, who called you to life, and who wants you to use your gifts and talents to make the world the place that He has to be. God bless you.